So what is the most effective audiology marketing? That's exactly what we're going to address in this video. My name is Oli Luke, and over the past 8 years, I've helped over 80 hearing care practices in order to outperform industry averages by 29%, grow iconic local statuses, grow their reputation, recognition, and revenue, and do it in a very effective way. In this video, I want to share exactly what the practices we work with do and what we've learned about marketing as an audiology clinic. First things first, if this is your first time watching this video, then I ask you something very, very simple. Always intrigued to know where people are listening to. So if you could be very kind and just drop a comment below with where you're listening to, what part of the world, what country, what city, etc. And I'll make sure I reply to every single one. But let's get into what we've learned over the past 8 years, because look, fundamentally, when I first met the hearing care industry, one thing that I found very, very interesting was it's historically been an advertising focused approach to getting patients. That is the way we've had to do it, right? Is we're going to spend $1,000 on a direct mail campaign and we want 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people to respond. We're going to spend X number of dollars on a lunch and learn. We want people to respond. We're going to spend X number on a newspaper advert, a radio advert, a television advert, and it's all money in, how much money out, and how fast can we put money in, and how fast can we recycle that cash. Now, that was okay, because historically we've served the silent generation of patients that responded very prominently to them. They didn't do the research themselves. They found an advert, they responded to the advert, and then they made a decision on whether you were the right choice for them, typically when they were face to face with you. But our belief has always been different, right? Because how we see it is advertising is like asking somebody on a date. Marketing is all the reasons they would say yes. Now, marketing is the bit that is often not looked at, not cared for, and advertising is always relied on. The challenge we've got right now with boomers being a prominent patient is they want to do their due diligence, they want to do their research, they want to find somebody that's right for them. Not right for everyone, right for them, their nuance, their preference, the way they like to receive service, what their priorities are. And some are still cost-driven, but many are still service-driven, care-driven, want somebody that aligns to the values that they have, which means they research, they spend time on the internet, they use the internet as often as you and I. The fact you're watching a video, listening to a podcast, they're doing the same, which changes the dynamics a lot, because now the game isn't just how do we throw an advert in front of them at the right time, it's how do we ensure that when they come looking for services like ours, we show up as the logical option for them. And through this, we've learned there's a methodology over the past 8 years, a methodology that allows practices to outcompete the majority of the market. And I'm going to briefly take you through it. So the first step that you need to think about when it comes to marketing as an audiology clinic is who. You need to start with who. Most businesses get really good at the thing they do. They get good at their what. They go, right, I want to really become the best audiologist, deliver the best service care, do better than anybody else in the market. And then they swing open their doors and go, okay, who are the people for me? Where are my patients coming from? And we can blame Kevin Costner here, right? If you build it, they will come. They fundamentally won't. The most important thing is get clear. Who are you looking to serve? Who is the market that you fundamentally want? Who are the types of patients that you're right for? And that is a decision that is not always easy, but a decision that is important and impactful once you get it right. And it may be that like tinnitus is your bag. It may be that we're really good for the younger patients that still have active lifestyles. It may be that we just want the typical 75-year-old patient with these challenges, right? But the more specific you get, the more simple marketing becomes. Because when you know who you're speaking to, you can speak in a very different way and get your messaging right. If you were asked to deliver a presentation, it's very helpful to know who's in the room. Because if it's a bunch of busy surgeons in the morning huddle, it would be very different to whether it was a bachelor party in Amsterdam after 8 pints of Stella. Very different markets. Your message will be very different. But until you know your market, difficult to get your message right. So once you've got specificity on who the types of patients you want are, this is where you need to get very clear on why they should choose you over all logical options available to them. Fundamentally, this is value proposition. This is how well can we articulate our points of difference. And the one question I would encourage you to get really, really clear on is, I've said it, why should they choose you over all other options available to them? What are the reasons? What are the line items? And how do you package that up in order to ensure that when they come to your website, they go, oh, I've found my people. And it may be that you've done this for a long time. It may be that you're trusted by thousands of people. It may be you've got a unique way that you achieve things. You've got the biggest team, the most experienced team, whatever it may be. But getting clear on that value proposition that allows you to put your best foot forward and be the logical option for the types of people that are looking for services like yours that you want to work with, really, really important. Now, that does mean if you're going to do that correctly in today's world where boomers are first, you do need to ensure that the way your website looks is right. That perceived gap between what the patient perceives and the reality needs to be closed as much as possible. We can't look average but be amazing at service. If we're amazing at what we do, then please make the experience of what they would expect through the web presence that you have look similarly amazing. The third step from there is we need to collect an obnoxious level of evidence. In the world we're in now, trust is at an all-time low. Unfortunately, we don't trust what we read. We don't trust what we see. If somebody makes a statement that we don't know, we don't immediately trust them. We want validation. It's truthful. And it means collecting evidence is really, really key. Like, you now need to become almost a defense attorney for your practice. And it means if you say that you've helped lots of people, we need reviews, we need case studies, we need evidence. If you say you're a nice team of friendly people, we need real photography showing the emotion and empathy that exists in your team. If you say you've got a spacious, beautiful location, you need to show it. If you say you give back to the community, you need to show it. Evidence is so key. If you say something, you need to back it up. The joy of collecting evidence is it becomes a little bit of a flywheel. You collect the evidence, it attracts more people, that creates more evidence, and it goes on and on. It's about building the process in your business so that it's easy for people to leave reviews, it's easy for people to submit case studies, and it's easy for you to collect the evidence that you are who you say you are. And if you didn't get a picture, it didn't happen. So we've got that right. So that's the fundamentals of getting your web presence, getting the way you show up correctly. Know your who. Know the reasons they should choose you all over all other options and ensure you look like the logical option for them. Then build the evidence to prove that you've helped many people like the person you want to attract to achieve the outcomes that they're looking for. From there, it's all about communication. How do you communicate with existing patients? How do you communicate with local physicians? How do you communicate with anybody you could possibly refer? Like, these are key. How do you close the gap between the professional reason a patient chose you, the personal reasons they will always choose you in those personal relationships? How do you show physicians that you care greatly about the hearing health of the community, you're a safe pair of hands for them, and that you've got your finger on the pulse on what's going on? Like, those communications are so key. Now, that could be strong email newsletters that lead with personality first. It could be physician print newsletters. It could be the fact you turn up and deliver seminars and talks. You invite patients and you invite physicians to webinars that you run on a quarterly basis to show you're an expert on a variety of subjects. Whatever that may be, there's so much nuance in that, but understanding that communication isn't something that can be left for chance. It needs to be engineered and managed correctly. We then need to become locally iconic. Like, this is so key for small independents, right? We look like the practice we want to be. We have all our stories straight. We communicate to everyone that matters. But how do we grow iconic local status? And what I mean by that is when hearing health, hearing loss, hearing aids comes up in conversation in your community, how is your name swiftly following that? And there's ways you can do it, right? You can advertise your way there. You can just be around in the community for so long that people know you, or you can engineer it by design. And that is, how do we show up in the community? How do we put our name alongside many of the things that people care about in the community? Or how do we even do local spotlights and other local independent businesses in order to grow affinity and relationships with people and businesses that others care about? Like, how do we grow reputation through relationships? There's a number of different strategies you can do to do that. But fundamentally, you start to get all those in place and it starts to get the marketing foundations very, very solid. Where do you go from there? Well, look, there's pricing. Like, there's so much you could do with pricing, extra revenue on the table. Remember, there's 3 ways to grow a practice: get more patients, get them to spend more often and get them to spend more, grow average transaction value, grow frequency of purchase, grow number of clients. Like, number 1 is a given, but those 2 of grow average transaction value and grow frequency of purchase, like, they're levers that you can pull to drive significantly more growth from your existing patient flow. And pricing, how do we find other things for people to invest in? How do we reduce the gap between upgrades? There's so much in that. But really, the fundamental of marketing, once you've got all that in place, is as simple as this: basics to a gold standard consistently. This is a never finished game. People who do marketing once and then let it go means it gets outdated really quick. How do we continue to evolve, continue to communicate? How do we build a system and a set of tracks that means we can continue to go over and over again and always have something new to talk about, always having somebody new to contact, have a playbook ahead of us so we know what the next 12 months looks like? Unfortunately, marketing isn't what's the one campaign, what's the one secret, what's the one trick. It needs to be joined up. It needs to be consistent. And that's where real momentum occurs, where you start to outperform everybody else and logically be the option that people choose. Not through gamification, not through manipulation, not through landing an ad at the right hour on the right day, but how do we actually just become the number one in the community? By being the number one in the community and proving we're the number one in the community. That is modern day marketing. And it's not easy. It's work. It's a lot of work. And that's why businesses like we exist, to help practices who want to do it correctly to do it correctly. Now, if you want to do this yourself, follow the advice I've just given you. If you want help in order to do it, then reach out and be happy to have a conversation, or go to orange-grey.com, learn a little bit about how we help some of the world's best practices in order to become the world's best practices. And if it's of interest, then I'd love to have a conversation. But appreciate your eyes, your ears for this short little impromptu video. And I'll speak to you again very, very soon.